Oh, hey, I didn't see you there. I was just thinking about one of the greatest social activists and athletes of our time, Muhammad Ali. In his early life, young Cassius Clay was never one to back down from a fight. Even whenever he was 12 years old, he swore, and I quote, to whoop whoever stole his bike. This was Cassius throughout his entire childhood. Even at a young age, he was destined to be a champion.
Under the mentorship of Officer Joey Martin, he won his first fight against Ronnie O'Keefe when he was 12 years old. Only 2 years later, he would go on to receive 2 Golden Glove awards. Later, in 1960, he had his first professional debut against Tunney Hunsaker, where he won after a brutal 6-round fight. His boxing career made it so far that he eventually joined the U.S. Olympic team and won his first lightweight gold medal in the Roman Olympics against Poland's Ziggy Piotrowski.
4 years later, and after a string of consecutive wins, he became a contender for the heavyweight championship title. His opponent, the famed Sonny Liston.
The fight was long and hard for the two champions. Both fought viciously for 6 rounds using many different tactics to try to outwit their opponent. After facing many devastating blows, Clay was able to whistle Liston down, and after the 6th and final round, Liston knew he was defeated and walked out. At the age of 22, Cassius Clay became the youngest heavyweight champion ever.
While boxing was a major achievement for Cassius, another was his great strides towards civil rights in the 1960s. In 1964, Cassius met Malcolm X, who later educated him on the belief of Islam. He would go on to convert to Islam and name himself Muhammad Ali.
In 1967, after the U.S. entered the Vietnam War, Ali was given a draft slip, where he objected on religious grounds. As a result of this, he was faced with 5 years in prison and a $10,000 fine, which he was able to avoid by appealing in court. However, his passports and all of his titles were stripped from him. During the time he was grounded, Ali actively went to universities and taught students about the war. He spent many years educating students and swayed more of them against it. He would go on to join up with activists like MLK and Malcolm X, and would go on to inspire other groups like the SCLC and CORE.
Man, only in Oregon can the weather change this quickly. Anyway, Muhammad Ali's contributions didn't end in the 60s.
In 1990, after the invasion of Kuwait, Ali was sent on a mission of peace. He was sent to Iraq to negotiate with Saddam Hussein himself to release the American hostages he was holding captive. Through this mission, Ali would go on to show the world the other side of Iraq. He was there so long that he ran out of his Parkinson medication and was close to death when Saddam Hussein agreed to meet him. At the end of it all, Ali managed to convince him to release every single hostage completely unharmed. Because of his actions in Iraq and his many other strides towards equality, he was nominated for the UN Messenger of Peace Award in 2002, a prestigious award only given out to the select few who dedicated themselves to upholding peace. He would also go on to receive the Presidential Medal of Freedom, the highest civilian award in the United States.
Muhammad Ali's actions would go on to make him one of the most influential people in American history. Even whenever the entire country was standing up against him, he stood up and never backed down. When the country was attacking the Muslim community after the 9/11 terrorist attacks, he stood up and defended them. When police brutality was rampant in the streets, he stood up and defended the African American community. His actions would go on to inspire many of the people you see standing up, like LeBron James, Colin Kaepernick, and even Barack Obama. His influence stands up there with the likes of MLK and Malcolm X. Ali's legacy as not only a boxer but a social activist would go on to live in American history, not only American history, but history nationwide.
At the end of it all, Ali managed to convince him to release every single hostage completely unharmed. Because of his Iractions in Iraq, Iractions.
While boxing was a major achievement for Cassius Clay, another was his great strides towards civil rights in the 60s, and you're walking closer to the...
Am I?
Yes, you are!
Jesus Christ!